due to a rate of interest movement. So that much of loss what you have suffered, for that the capital which has to be calculated, that is called general market risk. So that is one capital you have to calculate. Okay. So basically, if the question comes, what is the capital calculation is called due to movement in the interest rate in the market risk. In that case, you say it is the general market risk capital. So due to movement in the interest rate, to cover the losses, the capital which is calculated, that is called general market risk. Second thing, as I told you, other related factors which are related to the individual issuer. So in that cases, for each and individual issuer wise, capital has to be calculated. That is called specific market risk. Means it is calculated for specific issuer according to the risk factor, which might be downgrading of rating of that issuer or losses of that issuer or NPA has happened to the issuer, whatever it may be, any issue. So it will be calculated for each individual issuer if there is some downgrading or anything is there. So you have to calculate general market risk and you have to calculate specific market risk. So total of these two is the total market risk capital. Clear? So there are two different market risk capital to be calculated. One is general market risk, another is specific market risk. Clear? Any doubt on this?
Sir, please repeat specific market risk.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Sir, general market risk.
Have you understood? Have you understood this one, which when I explained?
Yes, sir.
What is movement interest rate? One is movement in, so capital market risk happens due to change in the movement or change in the market rates. Okay. Second, I told you that apart from this, there might be some adverse changes in the factors related to individual issuer.
Yes, sir.
These two, due to these two, losses might happen for which market risk capital has to be calculated. So for these changes, whatever capital is calculated, that is called general market risk calculation. And for these changes, whatever the capital is calculated, that is called specific market risk calculation. Now is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, capital charge for specific risk. So general market risk according to movement. So measurement is to be done according to those the sensitivity method or volatility method, whatever you calculate, then we cover that. But for capital charge for specific risk, so it depends on, as I already told you, depends on the issuer. Because we are talking about specific issuer. Specific issuer who has issued that security which the bank has invested. Okay, so it depends on the issuer. It depends on the type of security. What type of security, whether it's a bond or something else. Okay, and also depends on the remaining maturity of the security. Here that MAC duration or modified duration, which will be telling how many risk will depend on what is the remaining maturity of the security. So basically, specific risk calculation of capital charge will depend on three factors. One is issuer, one is type of security the bank is holding, and another is remaining maturity of the security. You should remember why I am telling all this. Sometimes MCQs are coming. So if you remember this, you can easily answer those things. So the capital charge or capital calculation of market risk varies from 0% to 100%. Based on the above parameters. So there is no constant thing that you can multiply by this alpha or beta or any percentage so to calculate. So capitals are for various investments are prescribed by RBI differently for different types of security or investment in their guidelines for market risk. So how to calculate the capital? There are a vast guidelines are there. So it will be very complicated. So the head office of your bank, one group of people, specialized people, they take care of this calculation. So they follow the guidelines and they calculate the capital on mark-to-market basis. Yeah. Now, general risk is basically computed under standardized duration method. That is the first method, standardized duration. The second method is standardized. First is standardized maturity method. Second method is standardized duration method. Because standardized duration method is more precise than the maturity method, because this gives a more accurate picture so that we can calculate the exact amount of capital which is needed to cover the losses. So basically, this is a popular method under which this calculation is done. So this calculation capital is this. So capital equal to modified duration of the security. Modified duration we have already discussed. So what is the modified duration of the security? Into market value of the security into assumed change in the yield. So assumed change in the yield. This is assumed change, not the actual change. So this assumed change is given by regulator. So basically, we have to find out what is the modified duration, if you know, and what is the market value. Then we can see this assumed change in the assigned change level, which RBI gives from time to time. If you multiply that one, then we can calculate the capital for the general market risk. Okay, here as I say, assumed change in the yield is provided by regulator or RBI, which varies from 60 to 100 basis points depending on the remaining maturity of the security. So basically, on an ongoing basis, RBI prescribes or gives this assumed change in the yield to the banks. They publish it. So bank has to calculate the capital according to that. So that thing will be there. What type of securities? What is the remaining maturity of securities? And what are the basis points? The percentage it will give. They will give the percentage. What will be the assumed change in the yield? So if you multiply all these three factors, you can arrive at the capital. Okay. So capital requirement for general risk is to cover the risk of loss from the changes in the market interest rate. That we know already. The total capital requirement is arrived at the sum of 4 components as below under standardized use. So basically, for this one question might come, so that somebody has asked me that last time this question came for the first time. Last season, this question came for the first time. So please be careful. If you can digest this, then fine. If it is very difficult to understand, I will suggest you just overlook this. You don't go through this because a little bit confusion this complicated method to calculate the capital. Okay. So here, what is the thing? Normally what happens, say, why this calculation of general market risk calculation is done in a different way when there will be a, I think your treasury class is over, no? The treasury class is over.
No, sir.
Can somebody
Going on.
going on? Okay. Okay. Can you tell me what is a long position and what is a short position?
Overbought is long position and
Overbought is long position, oversold is a short.
Okay. So what happens? Overbought and oversold. So what happens when you overbuy or oversell? What is the results?
exchange risk, sir.
What is the result? Normally, what is the result happens?
Profit and loss.
The risk will detail.
Risk arises.
Risk banking, you do any transaction, risk will arise. My question is long position, normally what happens? In short position, normally what happens?
We in long position to buy and hold.
Okay, then what might be the reason?
Try to match the market.
If rate goes down, there will be the loss.
Why you do all these things? Why you are buying and selling? For what purpose you are buying and selling?
To make money.
What is the
To make
Profit.
profits.
so profit is the main thing, na?
Yes.
So
Profit
in
is
a long position, normally what happens?
Profit is stable.
price.
Price go up.
Profit goes down.
Will be there if price goes up.
Normally,
Profit rise.
okay. Normally, long position means bank has purchased the securities and bank is owning that security for the time being. Bank owns the security, and since the security is owned by the bank, so bank may gain from it if the underlying value of the security or price of the security increases. Okay, so whenever this price increases, whenever the price of that security rises in the market, bank will have a position which is called a long position in its trading book. So basically, you can say that due to that, generally there might be a profit from this. But short position means what? Bank has sold or might have oversold the securities, for which bank might have a negative position. So normally this can a long position might have also negative, but as a general rule, I'm telling the long position means normally we seem or assume that we will have a profit whenever the price of security has gone up. Okay, short position means normally there is a negative position in the trading. So I can say that long position means a positive position in the trading book and short position is a negative position in this. Now, this short position in India, currently RBI does not allow in all the securities. Short position is not allowed. Short position is only allowed for derivatives and government security. If they are government securities or derivatives, then government allows the bank to have a short position. For other securities, it is not allowed at all. So in our market risk portfolio, there might be some kind of derivatives or government securities. So when such short position will be there due to these derivatives and central government security, there has to be some adjustments. Some adjustments are required to calculate the general market risk capital. So that adjustment, how that adjustment will take place, because that adjustment between a long position vis-a-vis the short position. So long position might happen for different securities at different maturities. If there is no short position, then such type of adjustment is not required. If at all there is a short position, then only adjustment of those things has to be required. So what is that adjustment? Normally, long positions of the similar maturity and short position of different maturities are to be adjusted together, and accordingly some discount or something is called that is called vertical, some vertical allowance and horizontal allowance are to be applied before arriving at the amount of capital. So you have to allow this, you have to apply this vertical allowance and horizontal allowance as per RBI guideline whenever there will be a short position. So that will be adjusted with the long positions. So I'll just give you an example. So how this, first thing is that the method is, first step is the net of short positions, net of the short position or net of long positions in the trading book has to be taken. So what are your net of short position and long position has to be taken. Then a small proportion of the matched positions. Matched position, this is about the remaining maturity. In each time band has to be taken at a discount of, say, vertical disallowance of 5%. Okay. Now, this according to this matched position in the sense according to the time band. That is according to time band. So, these time bands, there are 15 time bands. 15 time bands in the market risk. These 15 time bands again divided into 3 different zones. So, zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. There are 3 zones are there. Now, according to that also, how to do, so basically when you are small portion of the matched positions in each time band, whenever, that means there is a long position of the same band and a short position in the same time band. That is called each time band. So whenever the time band matches, so in that case, the disallowance is 5%. Third thing is a large proportion of the matched positions across different time bands. Whenever there is no equal time band, whenever there is a different time band, and that time horizontal disallowance has to be calculated, and that is prescribed at a different percentage as given by RBI. Okay, so what is the percentage I will just say? So as I told you, there are 15 different time bands. So the investment which bank has done, they will be classified according to the remaining maturity. So basically time band is nothing but the remaining maturity. These are the remaining maturity. So whatever instrument you have or security you have invested, you have to fix that which time band it belongs to. So first 4 time band belongs to zone 1. Second 3 time bands belong to zone 2. Rest 8 time bands belong to zone 3. So zone 1, zone 2, zone 3 has been divided. So these 15 time bands are there, divided into 3 zones, zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. Zone 1 contains 4 time bands, zone 2 contains 3 time bands, and zone 3 has 8 time bands. You can see the time bands are remaining maturity this way. Now, horizontal allowance. What is horizontal allowance? Disallowance. Horizontal disallowance is applicable on the netted amount across the zones. Across the zone. That means interzone. Interzone means it will happen if there is an adjustment of netting happens between zone 1 and zone 2, zone 2 and zone 3, or zone 3 and zone 1. So interzone it is. So there are 3 zones, so it can happen in 1, 2, 2, 3, and 3, 1 only. So if there is such netting happening between these 2, then that horizontal allowance will be applicable. Okay, so according to that, if the netting happens within the zone, within the same zone, netting is done within this time band. Okay, horizontal disallowance which will be applicable with the same zone, it happens within a single zone. Then for zone 1, if it is happening, then horizontal disallowance is 40%. If it is happening in zone 2, it will be 30%. If it is happening in zone 3 only, then it is 30%. Means 2 things are under the same zones. Okay, now there might be a possibility that it can happen between the adjacent zones. So in adjacent zones, as I told you, that can happen in 1, 2. If it is happening 1 and 2, then 40% is the horizontal disallowance. If it is happening 2 and 3, 40% is the horizontal disallowance. And if it is happening between 3 and 1, then it is 100%. So 1 and 2, 2 and 3 are 40%. Between far zone, that is 1 and 3, it is 100%. Okay. And vertical disallowance is the applicable on the net position of long or short of a single maturity or single time band. If there is a single time band, it's happening, means the long position was also 6 months to 1 year, and short position is also 6 months to 1 year. So then only this vertical allowance is applicable. And this, as I told you, as per the present guidelines, it is 5% of the netted amount of long position and short position. Okay, so these are the prescribed percentage for horizontal and vertical. So vertical allowance is constant 5% of the netted amount of the single maturity or single time band. And for horizontal disallowance, that we have to see which zone they belong to, whether it is within the zone or it can be interzone. So within the zone, this column will be applicable. If it is interzone, then 40. If it is happening 1 and 2, it is 40. If it is 2 and 3, but if it happens in the farthest zone, that is 1 and 3, then it is 100%. That you have to remember that one. Okay. So just now, I will just explain with a simple case study, which will be, so always remember, whenever there is a short position due to derivatives or government securities, such adjustments are required. If there is no short positions, then it is not required. So normally short position for derivatives and government securities are allowed by RBI. Other than that, no security you can have short position. Okay, so here there are 4 things we can see. So one is long position in securities with remaining maturity of 2 years, having general market risk capital charge of 100 crore. You have calculated this. So you have calculated capital, but apart from that also some additional capital has to be calculated by adjustment of horizontal and vertical disallowance. That is why this is calculated, because due to adverse market movement, you cannot assure that this 100 crores will be enough for this security. So that might be required some more things. So for that reason, this vertical disallowance and horizontal disallowance are calculated. So one position is long position of remaining maturity of 2 years having general value 100 crore. Second is also a long position and security with remaining maturity of 5 years, where 450 crore is the capital. Then third is your short position due to derivatives with remaining maturity of 6 months only, where 100 crore is the capital. Short position due to derivatives with remaining maturity of 2 years, general market risk is say 50 crores. So this is the position you are having. So here the question comes that these are the position. Now find out the total capital charge for general market risk.
400.
Okay. No. So this is the 400 you are keeping, but you have to calculate the capital charge general risk at addition to this 400. How much you want to calculate? Okay, 400 is. So 400 is the, no problem, 400 is the algebraic sum of all the things. So 100,
Okay.
So you can calculate 100 plus 450 minus 100 and minus 50.
Minus 50.
So this is the plus 400 crore we are having. Okay, apart from this, also we have to calculate that vertical disallowance and horizontal disallowance. Okay, so how this vertical and horizontal disallowance to be calculated? So first is 2 years, 5 years, 6 months, 2 years. Okay, so first one was, I'll just write here. First one is 2 years. 2 years with how much the thing was? It was 100, right? Second was
450.
450 with how? What is the time period?
5 years.
5
5
years.
years. Third was 6 months minus 100, and fourth was 2 years. I think
2
2
years.
years minus 50. Minus 50. This was the position. Okay. This is the position. Now, this was 5 years. Are you sure now? Okay. So here we can see that we have to look at remaining maturity. So we can see if these are the 4 portfolio. Can you tell me which portfolios are within same time band?
First one and fourth.
1 and 4. 1 and 4 are on same time band, that is 2 years. 2 years portfolio. Okay, 2 years remaining maturity. The rest 2 are different, 5 year and 6 month. So vertical allowance will be allowed only for same time band. I told you, only for same time band if the position has. So here only 1 and 4 have same time band. So vertical. So here we have to allow vertical disallowance. Okay, is it clear? Vertical disallowance is for same time band if that is there. Here same time band 1 and 4 are there, so we have to allow this vertical disallowance. So what is the netted amount then? We have to find the netted amount. What is the netted amount? Netted amount of capital. Netted amount of capital is
50.
Sir, it is 2.5 CR.
Okay.
Sir, it is 2.5 CR.
how? Oh, you are telling me vertical disallowance. Okay, the answer is 2.56 here. Okay, netted amount is rupees 550 crore. Okay, so vertical disallowance is 5%. So your result is 2.5 crore. So as per vertical disallowance, we have to carry extra capital of 2.5 crore. Is it clear now? Because this type of question will come. Simple question will come. Is it clear? Simple thing, we have taken four positions. First, we have to see the time bands. Vertical disallowance is for those positions having same time band. Where we have seen here 1 and 4 are having same time band. So vertical disallowance will be for the netted amount. So netted amount is plus 100 minus 50. So it is 50 crore only. So 50 crore, 5% vertical disallowance. So that becomes our 2.5 crore. Am I clear? Vertical disallowance?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we'll see the horizontal. Vertical is over. Now horizontal. Now we will consider the lowest maturity band among the rest of position. What is the lowest one? So which one is the lowest maturity band?
6 months.
6 months.
C3 sir.
Number 3.
Minus
Number
100.
3. So it is 6 months. 6 month remaining
Yes, sir.
maturity with minus 100
Minus 100.
position. Minus 100 position. Okay. So this should be netted to the nearest time band available. So what is the nearest time band available?
2 years.
First rule is that we will see which after vertical time band it is over now. Now for horizontal time band, first we will consider which has got the lowest maturity band. So lowest maturity band we found it is number 3.1, which is 6 months for a position of minus 100, short position of 100. So this position of minus 100 for 6 months. So this has to be netted. This has to be netted to the next nearest time band. This amount of capital has to be netted with the next nearest time band which is available. So next nearest time band is
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
After 6 months, 2 years, the lengthiest one is 5 years. So, which is the 2 years time band. For the 2 year time band, we have already netted the same with the long position of say this 50 crore. Already you have got this 50 crore. Already you have done this one. So 2 year, we have a netted value of 50 crore. 100 plus minus 50. So it is a long position of 50 crore. Therefore, the netted amount will be 50 crore. So the netted amount will be 50 crore only, because this 100 minus plus 50 equal to 50 crore. So this position of 3 is in which zone? Normally, if you see in the zone I have given, so it will be in the 6 month is in the zone 1. So this will be zone 1. This is zone 1 only. Whereas this position of 1 and 4 are in which zone? Because zone 3 is more than 3.6 years. So this is a zone 2. This belongs to zone 2.
So it is 40%. So it will be
Okay,
20.
so very good. So which indicates that there is a inter-zone netting is there. So the
40%.
horizontal disallowance will be 40%. So 40% of 50 crore
50.
equal to 40% of 50 crore.
Sir,
How
did you get 40% balance?
How did I?
Already, sir, given.
40%.
40% that interchange, see, when it happens between zone 1 and zone 2, it is 40%. When it happens zone 2, zone 3, it is 40%. When it happens in zone 3 and zone 1, it is 100%. That vertical, that horizontal disallowance I have shown in the table. Okay, it is according to the table.
And
Okay.
50 value, how did you get the 50?
We have netted this, na? Already this, we have netted this. First, what happens, you have to see what are the next time band with which we have doing. So there we have already netted this one. So netted value has to be taken. So long position of 50 crore has to be taken, and with that 50 crore, 40% disallowance has to be made. Okay.
6 months is the lowest time bound, and 2 years the nearest time bound. So we have taken 2 year minus 50 or 100 2 years.
Whatever it may be, minus 50 or 50 is the, see, minus 100 and 50 is there. Na? Here 50 was there, here minus 100. So resultant is 50 or not? When you net it again. See, first
Sir,
2 years.
you are getting 50 from first equation, sir.
Yes, see, what was the prescription? You take the lowest time band
Okay.
among the rest of position to start with, which is position 3. Okay, that is with 6 months remaining maturity, having a short position of minus 100. Okay, this was a short position of minus 100, which is the lowest one. This should be netted to the next nearest time band. So next year nearest time band is 2 years. 2 years already we have netted in the first vertical disallowance. So after netting, what was the position? After netting, position was long position of 50. Yes or no?
Yes,
Okay.
sir, yes.
So here short position of 100, here short long position of 50. If you net it, how much it comes?
50.
50. So that 50 I have taken here. 40% of that 50 is 20 crore. Okay.
Just neglect that
And the
minus.
minus sign. Minus.
That is not required, because see, that is not required because short position you are taking capital. So whatever the position is, whatever the netted amount is, on that capital has to be carried out. Whether it is a plus or minus doesn't matter.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now next step is, after netting the above, the net position remains at what? Net position is minus 50 only, on which you have calculated. Okay. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So this 50 crore has to be netted against the next available time band. So this has to be if there is any other next time band is available. What is the next time band is available? That is number 2. Number 2 is 5 year. So 5 year after that, what will be the position, netted position?
100%. crore.
No, position. What is the net?
400. 400.
So 450 plus minus 50, so it becomes 400. 400 plus. Okay, this is the position. Okay, which matches this. After doing this, this 400 should match with the total of this one, because we are doing the last step here. So it should match with the total one. You will check it whether this 400 matches with the all total or not. So total, if you take here, it is 400 only. So it matches. That means we are at a correct position. So now, and the netted amount is how much here? What is the lowest netted amount? Lowest netted amount here?
50.
50. So this is the lowest netted amount here. Okay. So at this net, therefore the horizontal disallowance for these two, what are the zones here? Which are the zones? Which are the zone it is happening now? It is happening between 5 is in the zone 3. Yes or no? So it is happening between zone 1 and zone 3. So if it is happening in zone 1, zone 3, what is the disallowance?
100%.
100%. 100%. That means how much is the 50 crore into 100% equal to 50 crore?
50.
50. So we know that what is the total horizontal disallowance now? Total horizontal disallowance comes to 20 plus 50. That is 70 crore. And vertical disallowance is 2.50. So vertical plus horizontal allowance required is 72.50 and already capital 400. So total amount of capital required is 472.50.
Please pardon, sir, again, sir, again.
What again?
Yeah, summation.
Summation, here we have calculated 20 crore. Here we
Yes,
calculated 70 crore. These two belong to horizontal disallowance.
Okay.
So total of horizontal disallowance becomes 70 crore.
Yes, sir.
As far as vertical disallowance is concerned, we are having 2.5 crore. So vertical plus horizontal disallowance becomes 72.50. And already this 400 already is there, we are carrying short position, long position. So 400 plus 72.50. So total market risk capital is 472.50.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's why I told you, if it is, see, this I have explained to you. You please read this chapter, read this in the Macmillan book. Once today, if you read it at night, just read it. For 10 minutes or 15 minutes, go through reading it. It will be clear. So you can easily see the steps. You can take the steps as a screenshot and compare it, how it is happening, and you will find how to calculate. So if you can understand this today, then go for it. If you cannot understand this, then I will say that you skip this one. Okay.
How much marks problem will it come, sir?
It will come at 2 marks only.
Sir, last year, 5 marks, sir.
5 marks it came.
Yes, sir. Same
Oh.
horizontal and vertical allowances.
So
Long
basically,
question
Yes, sir.
marks.
There are five marks, and every year it's coming.
oh,
So-
then
But
so
didn't
this-
understand, sir, last year.
okay.
Last
So
time.
basically, the capital of our general market risk is the first thing, algebraic sum of the general market risk, what is given in the question, plus vertical disallowance, how much capital is required, plus horizontal disallowance, how much capital is required. So this is the truth.
Sir, why we added 400 rupees and 72.50?
What was there in the question? These are capital, na? Capital charge you have calculated and you have netted this. What is the algebraic sum? Here we have written 400.
Sir,
Okay.
he asked how it comes to 72.50. He asked.
Who was?
Before one-
Vertical disallowance we have calculated 250. Horizontal disallowance we calculated 50 plus 20. So it becomes 70. With 70, whatever the 400 already there in the question. So 400 plus 72.50 is equal to 472.50. So capital for the market risk, general market risk is algebraic sum of the general market risk already you are having for the long and short position. So that this is the algebraic sum. Algebraic sum because for short position we have to deduct that one. Long positions are positive position. So if you take the algebraic sum, it becomes 400. With this 400, you have to add this vertical disallowance plus this horizontal disallowance. So it becomes 472.50.
Sir, one question, sir.
Huh.
You adding 100 plus 50. Sir, when you use minus sign, actually, I did not get.
That is why it is told that calculation of capital for market risk is done due to as the algebraic sum of general market risk, whatever. So because these are the long position, you have to take, it is a positive position for the bank, it is a positive position bank, and this has to be minus. So when you net it, this becomes your algebraic sum of general market risk. This is for the calculation of general market risk capital calculation under vertical and horizontal disallowance method. So you have to take this 400, then you have to add whatever the vertical. What is the logic? I cannot explain it here. So simply you remember this so that if the question comes, you calculate this, at least 5 mark question comes, 5 mark you can achieve.
This all is in
I can't hear you. I cannot hear you.
So background noise is in.
What are you asking? Ask me now.
Sir, this is in Macmillan, this chapter, sir, market risk.
Yes. Macmillan, the book, it is there. It is there. You can just find out. If you want, I can give you the page number. When the class is done, I can give you just page number within 2 minutes. I can give you.
Sir, how to find vertical and horizontal, sir?
Here I have given this, na? It will be, I think in the question.
238, sir.
Pardon? Page number?
238, page number.
Very good. Thank you. So page number 238. Somebody has told the page number 238. You can just go through this. At least when I have discussed this, at least 30 to 40% you might have understood. If you read this, 100% you can understand. Read that page number 238, you can understand. If it is still not understandable, I will advise you to leave it. Because breaking your head for this is not so advisable if you cannot understand.
Sir,
Okay.
can I say that for long duration plus sign and short duration minus sign?
Yes, long is, that's what I have explained to you. Long position means normally banks positions are positive. Short position is always negative. So basically short position means this is a minus. That's why I taken a minus for this. Long position means it is a plus.
Now understood, sir. Understood.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir, can you take me to the slide where you had mentioned about
This one? This one you want? Hello? I can't hear you. I think net is becoming slow or something like that.
the modified relation, the formula, sir? No, sir. Before that, a formula which you had given, I wanted to clear, which you had written in red. I wanted to take a screenshot of that. Yeah.
This one, na? This one, na? Modified duration of security, market value of security into assumed change in the yield.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
And in the question, they may give you all the three.
Sir. Yes.
Or
sir.
sometimes
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Two max question,
Got
they will
vertical and
not
horizontal.
give modified duration. They will give the max duration and the time band of that security and market value, so that you will calculate the modified duration. Market value of the security will be given. Assumed change is to be given.
So they had with horizontal and vertical disallowance case study, they had correlated with Mockley's duration also. The question had
Oh.
all these things together.
Oh, that's why that was a 5-mark question. I think for that, if they're again including MAC duration, that means some other additional thing. So that's why it carried 5 marks. Otherwise, 5-mark questions are very less. 5 marks means normally they will have 3 or 4 different questions will be there. Anyway, I hope you understood.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I
sir.
hope that
Yes,
at
sir.
least 50% if you have understood, you read
Yes,
the
sir.
page 238, you will completely understand. There is nothing there. Only you have to see how the netting takes place. Netting is taking place. First, we have told that vertical allowance, how the vertical allowance, for which time band it will be taken? Vertical allowance for
Same time.
same time band. Same time band. For same time band, vertical allowance, disallowance. Okay. And for other time bands, it is horizontal disallowance. So other time bands, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3.
Zone 2,
It is
zone
happening
3.
between zone 1, zone 2, it is
40%.
40%. Zone 2, zone 3,
40%.
40%. Zone 1 to zone 3, it is 100%.
100%.
And if the same time band again, same time band, here the thing. If the within same time band 40, 30, and 30. This is the adjustment. So first you do the vertical adjustment, find out the amount. Second, you start with the whatever the netted amount of vertical is there. Then you start with the nearest time band, which is the lowest time band. Lowest time band, start with that, adjust that one. Then netting and find which adjacent zone they belong, apply that percentage and find that thing. Next, whatever the last one will be there, again do the same thing. Whatever percentage is there, find that thing. So horizontal disallowance, two adjustments, so 2 capital has to be there, vertical disallowance 1. So accordingly, you have to first total algebraic sum we have found, plus the vertical disallowance amount, plus 2 of the horizontal disallowance as per that question. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, last one we'll discuss. That is one question sometimes comes, always comes one question. So that is called Altman G score.
Z score.
Or Altman Z score or Altman G score. So just I will give you the background of why this is required and what is the importance of this. So basically we are studying risk management, where we are studying about the capital required and what does this capital will save you from? Capital will save you from
Bankruptcy.
bankruptcy. So capital will save us from, we are keeping the capital to save us from, prevent us from bankruptcy. Okay. So it can, somebody is just doing some pages or something, Macmillan book or somewhere, please stop that. If you are doing it, please mute your mic and do it. So basically, the biggest accident or biggest calamity that might happen to any business is bankruptcy. So for the last 50 years, so many calculations, research has been done. So many calculation metrics have been devised by so many persons to just to measure or gauge the progress or failure. Can you please mute your mics, please? So somebody is still, noise is coming. I have to mute all. So some different people, they have tried some amount of calculation or using some metrics. They wanted to measure the progress or failure of any kind of business. However, nobody could find out or a concrete finding or a concrete measure could be find out or could be assessed as the different types of metrics which have been researched by people, they were giving some conflicting results. So after some period, in the year 1968, one Professor Edward Altman was there. Edward Altman in 1968, he tried to put together all the metrics and he tried to eliminate the confusion in predicting of these failures or progress happening in the, basically his research was based on manufacturing industry. All the manufacturing industry, whatever that data I have taken. So basically all the people were trying for manufacturing industry only. So he tried and developed a model which was almost accurate, or we can predict to up to certain significant percentage. And he named it Altman Z-score or Altman G-score. So what he did, just I am telling you, he has combined 5 vital performance or performing financial ratios of those companies. So those manufacturers. So basically his research was on manufacturing industries only. So he took 5 vital performing financial ratios. Okay, so he combined, or he took 5 ratios and he has multiplied those ratios with some constant factors. He tried to multiply those ratios with constant factors. Okay, and he added all the things, and whatever the result was coming, he could give a range to that result. So according to the range, he decided that 3 ranges. One range was for the entire failure, or we can say bankruptcy. Middle one is 50-50, means neither bankruptcy not healthy. The first one is healthy. Healthy means business is going on well, there is no problem. 50-50 means neither quite healthy nor it is facing bankruptcy. But the third range is predicted that bankruptcy. So basically this ratio, when it is taken for the different types of companies, everything, the result was quite forthcoming and quite promising also. So after certain year, 20 years period, 20 or 30 years period, this type of score was also considered for financial industries. So basically in banks and financial institutions, this can be used. And if you have all these 5 vital ratios with you, you can calculate this and have this range and can predict whether your bank is going to face the bankruptcy. At this failure or bankruptcy also, he has given that it may happen within a period of 1 year. That precision he has given. So this is basically the thing. So what he has done, I'll just show you. So basically these are the 5 financial ratio he took. Say X1, we can call it X1, X2, X3, X4 and X5. X1 is working capital to total asset. Okay. So for bank, what will be the working capital?
Capital asset, current asset minus current liability.
Current asset minus current liability.
No, for bank. Okay. What is the current asset for the bank? And what is the current liability of the bank?
Current assets are easily encashable within 1 year. Easily encashable within 1 year.
No, you are telling me the definition. I don't want definition. You tell me what is the working capital of a bank?
Asset minus liability. No.
Sir, deposits.
Basically, we have working capital is our fund, which are nothing but the deposits. Okay. So that is the basically for bank, you are telling all these terms which are pertaining to the balance sheet of any company which is there. But as far as bank is concerned, our working capital is what? Our working capital is our fund which is we have received from outside. And so total deposit as well as borrowings as on debt are called the working capital. Okay. So working capital to total asset is taken as X1. X2. So when you do this, what does this suggest? Can you tell me what does this ratio suggest? What is the position, financial position of this? When you
Return on fixed
divide,
asset.
pardon?
Return on fixed asset.
Where is fixed asset? It is
Total
total
equity,
asset.
sir.
It is total asset.
Total outward liability.
This is total outside liability. If you divide it total asset, what position it gives?
Net
Ratio.
net working capital.
Ratio or to the assets.
Liquidity ratio.
Very good. Who told liquidity? That is correct. Liquidity position or liquidity ratio. Because suppose your working capital is 50, assets are 100. That means whether you are liquid. Total asset is 100. Working capital is 50. Whether you have liquidity with you?
No.
No. Because when working capital is more than the total asset, then you are liquid. So these positions give you a liquidity position of the concern. Okay. Now second one is X2. X2 represented by retained earnings to total assets. So what does this mean? Retained earnings means after adjustment of all the things, what is the net profit you are showing in your balance sheet? That is your retained earning to total asset. What does this tell you?
Return on investment.
Okay, basically return on the investment, or what
Net
is the
equity
return?
coverage ratio.
What is the
Equity.
return on your total assets? So basically it is, we can call it a leverage ratio. It is a leverage ratio. So if retained earnings are more, then we have a higher leverage. So basically it is showing that how much your company or your bank is relying on the debt, how much you are relying on the debt and how much less. So when the retained earnings are more, then you are relying less on the debts, means outside borrowings are less. So low ratio means the company is funding the assets from more borrowings, so your debts are more. When the retained earnings are more means you are dependent on less borrowings. So that's why retained earning means good. So this gives us that leverage. Third is X3, EBIT to total assets. EBIT is your earning before interest and tax. So what does it tell you? This is basically a return on asset. This is the return on asset. Total asset on which what is the return. So this is the return on the assets. Then X4 is the market value of the equity of a company divided by book value of the liabilities. So this is nothing but market capitalization. What is your market capitalization? This speaks of this one, X4. And the X5 is your total sales to total assets. So basically, this is what? This indicates your asset turnover. Asset turnover. Total sales. Total sales means what? What is bank's sales? What is the bank sale? Which figure you will take? Sales.
Loans and advances.
Advances, sir.
Very good. Loans and advances and investment also. So basically loans and advances plus investment are our sales. And to total assets. Suppose 80 is your loans and advances, total assets is 100. 100. So that gives you the asset turnover. So total asset is this much, out of which 80 is the earning assets. Loans and investments are earning asset. That's why you call it total sales. So these are the 5 performing vital ratios has to be taken. So this X1, X2, X3, X4 and X5 I have explained with this. Now these are to be multiplied with constant factor. So x1 is multiplied with 1.2, x2 is multiplied with 1.4, x3 is multiplied with 3.3, x4 is multiplied with 0.6, x5 is multiplied by 1. So that is constant. So here you have to multiply to 1.2, here it is 1.4, here is 3.3, here it is 0.6, and last one is 1. So these are multiplied with this corresponding constant factors. After you multiply this thing and add all this plus this, thus all these things we added, you get a final number. A digit will be there. Because all the ratios are in number, multiply with the simple number again. So you will get a numerical at the end. And according to that, what this Altman has told, that is the score you get. So if your score, Z score, is less than 1.81, then it is under distress zone. That means the company may likely to go bankrupt within 1 year time. Okay. And next range is if your score is more than 1.1 to 2.99, that zone is called gray zone, which I called is 50-50. So company could go either way. Means it might go to bankruptcy or it might go to safer zone also. There is no problem. So it is in the midway. And third is when the score is more than 2.99, it is a safe zone. So there will be no bankruptcy for the at least next 1 year. Okay, such type of questions might come, or sometimes MCQ comes, which score or ultimate score denotes that it is safe zone. It is safer zone. So you can say it is more than 2.99, which is the distress zone or bankruptcy zone. So you can say if it is less than 1.81. If it is 1.281 to 2.99, it is gray zone. So that type of question come, or the question will be asked like this. They will give the ratios. So these ratios will be given. So 3 years ratios are given for any company. So these are the 3 years ratio. Now these are the factor or constant weights to be multiplied with this. So you have all the three. So as per this, I have calculated. So 2017 comes to 3.18, which is more than 2.99. More than 2.99 means it is green, so safer zone. Next one I have calculated, so it came to 2.71. So it falls between 1.81 to 2.99. So it is in the gray zone. But the third one, 19, I have calculated, it comes to 1.70. So it is less than
Distress zone.
1.81. Distress zones means this might go to bankruptcy within
1 year.
2020. 1 year. It might. Okay, so this is the calculation for ultimate Z score. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
this
Okay, sir.
and some things you have to also see. There is a thing called liquidity coverage ratio. So liquidity coverage ratio, the purpose of this liquidity coverage ratio is that bank have to maintain short-term liquidity fund to get over the short-term liquidity crisis. If there is some crisis of liquidity problem, so for that purpose, bank has to maintain liquidity coverage ratio. Another thing which is called NSFR, that is called net stable funding ratio. So LCR is for short-term liquidity problem. This is for short-term liquidity problem. NSFR for the long-term problem. So you have to look for to cover the short-term crisis as well as long-term crisis. Okay, short-term crisis means normally this LCR has been assigned to maintain for the 30 days period. Here you can see 30 days period. Okay, so basically LCR is given as a formula, stock of high quality liquid assets. They are called high quality liquid assets. So cash is a high quality liquid. Some other securities are there. They are also treated under high quality liquid asset. So what is the high quality liquid asset divided by what is your total net cash outflow? What you have committed that this much of will be disbursed or you want to give it back to somebody. So for 30 days, what is your net cash outflow? So you divide that one and multiply it. So the minimum LCR as prescribed by RBI is that either 100% or more than that. That means if your net cash outflow is say 120, then your stock of HQLA should be at least 120 or more than that. Because you have to maintain minimum 100%. Or if you are maintaining more, that is also fine. Okay. Otherwise, what will happen? If you are not maintaining, then suppose this is 80 and 120, that means in 1 month period, you have a crisis. So if you have crisis, then definitely you have to go to market to borrow. So to borrow means it is a costly affair. So your profit is going to come down. So there might be a loss due to that. So to overcome this crisis, it has been suggested by Basel that banks should maintain the adequate level of high quality liquid assets, which can be easily converted into cash to meet its liquidity need for the 30 calendar days time horizon. So that means the stock of HQLA would be enabled to bank to survive until 30 days period or 30 days stress period. If it is there, it can easily absorb that. The logic behind the 30 days is that at the end of that period, it is assumed or it is thought that appropriate corrective action can be taken by the bank for the next 30 days to control the crisis. Okay, so this 100% was prescribed earlier to achieve by 1st January 2019, but it was not achieved due to pandemic happened, everything happened. So the deadline was extended to 1st of April 2021. So by this time, it was decided that every bank should have 100% of LCR. Okay, otherwise the RBI will take action. So normally some banks, they fall less than that. So to take corrective actions or something to help them to situation, RBI has introduced a scheme which is called FALCR, FALLCR, Facility to Avail Liquidity for LCR. So facility, FAL is Facility to Avail Liquidity to cover the liquidity coverage ratio. So that is called FALLCR, Facility to Avail Liquidity to cover LCR, where bank can avail the borrowing facility from RBI, to achieve this result of 100%. Okay, so basically that means FALCR is the part of GSEC which are under SLR. So bank has to invest in that. So bank, if they have this type of security with that, they can place this security with the RBI and they can take the borrowing to cover this liquid HQLA. That is about the LCR. So these are the different types of HQLA. So they are level 1, level 2A and level 2B. 3 types of are there. So basically level 1 are cash, government security under MSF, marginal MSF scheme, and marketable security issued on guaranteed by foreign government having 0% risk weight. Level 2 is marketable security issued or guaranteed by Indian government and public sector units having 20% of risk weight. So these are the different lists. So these are the high liquid assets you have to. And basically how much of, see, level 1 is full amount you can take. There is no, like it has got 0% haircut. So full amount can be taken into consideration. Level 2 means these are the different lower grade securities. So how much of level 2 HQLA can be held by the bank. So for that, haircut is applicable. So for level 2A HQLA, minimum of 50% of haircut is applicable at the current market value. And for level 2B, it is 50%. So if the question comes, you have to calculate that one. So level 1 full amount, level 2 you have 15%, and level 2 be 50%. This is 15, this is 50%. So these are the different types. Just for information, I am telling you, I will provide one calculation or numerical also afterward in the group, so that if at all that comes, you can. Then this is the net stable funding ratio. As I told you, this is to ensure that banks should not face the long-term liquidity crisis. Okay, so LCR was for short term, this is for long term. So basically, this is about the stable funding. So basically, they are called available stable fund. Available stable fund. So what is the available stable fund with you? And what is the required stable fund as per RBI guideline? So you have to calculate that one, so that the NSFR will be ASF divided by RSF, which should be more than or equal to 100%. Same thing like LCR, same thing. What is the available with you? What is the required? As per required, suppose available is 90, required is 100. That means you are having 90%. So it is less than 100%. So in that case, you are shortfall in long-term thing. Okay, so basically your available stable fund should be equal to or more than the required stable fund over the different time horizon. So when it is long-term means normally it is more than 1 year period. So you have to calculate that 1 year or 2 year, 3 year period. You can calculate what is the requirement and what is the approximate or estimated available fund with you. Okay, so that way it can be calculated, and this is the requirement as per RBI. Okay, any question? So we have completed risk management. Now next class we'll be starting with balance sheet management. And this about the numerical question of other things including NFCR, LCR, I will provide in the group after we complete the balance sheet management thing. And almost by that time, almost all the classes will be over. So you can start with all the numericals. You can start the numericals doing in the IBS weekend also. And also I will provide in the group. Every day I will be providing at least 1 or 2, so that the people who are interested, they can ask me, they can send me this thing, they can post there, I can correct them. Those who are not interested, I don't mind for them also.
Sir, risk management PPT, sir.
Yeah, अरे अभी खत्म हुआ है. Now only I have completed. I am taking marathon race. Wait, tomorrow I will be sending. Tomorrow I will be sending to Biju. He will post. Don't worry.
Okay, sir.
It will be.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, your mobile number,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Sir,
If we have any query in future, then how we can contact with you?
Only through WhatsApp. Don't because I will be not taking up call. I'll be busy in classes and other things. So normally I don't take. You send me a WhatsApp. I have given my number. It is there in the group also. You can find out, and you can any number of queries.
sir, can
Pardon?
you tell me here, sir, mobile number?
Again, that day I have given you, na?
Actually, sir, I did write, but I wrote, but I'm not getting that, sir. Actually, I wrote on a page, but I'm not getting the page.
Which page?
Actually, I wrote on a diary, but
Ah.
I'm not getting the page.
Achha, my number you are not getting.
Yeah.
You can find the number from WhatsApp, na?
Yes.
All WhatsApp messages will be replied. All calls will be rejected.